Hello everyone, welcome back to another recall session. So today I am going to discuss with you about the physiology recall questions of NEET PG 2023. So let us start discussing the questions. So the first question is identify the marked region in the given spirometry. So this is a spirometry graph. So let us first mark all the regions of spirometry graphs. This one is known as tidal volume. This one is known as vital capacity. This one is known as inspiratory reserve volume. This one is known as expiratory reserve volume. This one is known as residual volume. This one is known as inspiratory capacity. And this one is known as total lung capacity. And this marked area, which is shown in the given spirometry, is actually the summation of expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. So that is known as functional residual capacity. Okay. So marked region is option number A, functional residual capacity. The next question is a man was brought to the emergency after he suddenly became unconscious while working in the field. On examination, his temperature was 105 degree Fahrenheit and his skin turgor was decreased. Which of the following would not be seen in the patient? So this scenario is telling that a man suddenly became unconscious while working in the field and temperature was 105 degree Fahrenheit and his skin turgor was decreased. So that clinical scenario is suggestive of heat stroke. So let us look at the options. Which are the features are seen and which is not seen? Tachypnea, yes it is seen. Hypotension, yes it is seen. Sweating, sweating is characteristically absent in heat stroke. Sweating is not seen. Red hot skin, yes it is seen. So the feature that is not seen in heat stroke is sweating, option number C. The next question is identify the correctly matched pair of substances with the renal clearance from the graph given below. So in x-axis, they are showing the tubules structures of the kidney, and in y-axis, they are showing percent filtered load remaining. And they are asking about match the pair of substances with the renal clearances. So the substance marked as D is actually para-aminohippuric acid because it is filtered by the glomeruli and secreted by the tubular cells. Its concentration increases on moving through the length of nephron due to secretion into the tubules. The substance marked as C is inulin because inulin is freely filtered by glomeruli without undergoing any secretion or reabsorption. The substance marked as B is bicarbonate. Because bicarbonate reabsorption occurs in proximal tubule and a small amount of it flows into the distal tubules and collecting ducts. Its reabsorption occurs in all parts of tubules except the descending and ascending loops of the Henle. And the substance marked as A is glucose. Because glucose is reabsorbed along with sodium in the early part of the proximal tubule. So the answer here is option number B. A is glucose, B is bicarbonate, C is inulin, and D is para-aminohippuric acid. Let us move on to the next question. Identify the true statement regarding the given nerve action potential curve. This one is actually action potential curve of the nerve. Let us look at the statements. Threshold point is at A. A is not the threshold point here. Threshold point further to the A point, which is situated at this junction. The next statement is at point E, the nerve is more excitable. This is the point they are talking about. So point E is suggestive of hyperpolarization, and hyperpolarization point, the nerve cannot be excitable more. You require a very strong stimulus to excite the nerve at that point. Point C to D is due to opening of sodium and closure of potassium channels. Point C to D is repolarization curves, that is due to closure of sodium channels and opening of potassium channels. And the last statement is point B to D is refractory period. Point B to D is actually time of depolarization plus repolarization. So yes, it is a suggestive of refractory period. So this statement is true statement. Let us look at the other statements. Threshold point is at A. This is wrong. At point E, the nerve is more excitable. No, a stronger stimulus requires at point E. Point C to D is due to opening of sodium and closure of potassium channels. No, it is due to opening of potassium channels and closure of sodium channels. The next question is identify the type of transport across the cell membrane given below. This transport is suggestive of molecules across a membrane with the help of a carrier protein. So this type of transport is known as facilitated transport. So the answer is option number B, facilitated transport. The next question is a preterm baby who was delivered at 28 weeks developed respiratory distress syndrome. Which of the following is true about surface tension and compliance in this baby? So respiratory distress syndrome is due to deficiency of surfactant. Due to this, surface tension increases and compliance decreases. Okay, so surface tension is increased and compliance is decreased. Option number B is the right answer. The next question is a patient came to the hospital after a road traffic accident. He had severe muscle injury and his serum potassium level was found to be 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. What will happen to the resting membrane potential in this patient? So this scenario is suggestive of potassium level of 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. So it is a hyperkalemic situation, suggestive of hyperkalemia. It would result in the resting membrane potential becomes more positive. In hyperkalemia, extracellular level of potassium is increased. Thus, resting membrane potential moves closer to the threshold to elicit an action potential, leading to a more excitable nerve. This means the resting membrane potential has become more positive. Okay? So the answer here is option number C. The next question is, a patient met with a road traffic accident and developed a cervical spine injury. The fracture fragment had pierced the lateral aspect of the dorsal column tract. Which of the following findings is seen in this patient? Lateral aspect of the dorsal column tract affects fasciculus cuneatus, and that lesion would result in absence of ipsilateral proprioception of the arm. Okay, so the answer here is option number C, absence of ipsilateral arm proprioception. The next question is, identify the true statement regarding the point marked on the myocardial action potential curve. This one is the point marked. It represents plateau phase, which is due to slower and prolonged opening of calcium channels. Okay, so the answer here is option number B, due to slow but prolonged opening of calcium channels. Let us look at the other phases. This is phase 0, that is depolarization. Due to opening of voltage gated sodium channels, that is fast sodium channels, leads to sodium influx. This one is phase 1, initial repolarization. Due to closure of sodium channels and opening of potassium channels, leads to potassium efflux. This one is phase number 2, that is plateau phase, due to slower and prolonged opening of calcium channels. This one is phase number 3, due to closure of calcium channels and opening of potassium channels at the end of the plateau phase, which causes repolarization. And the stage number 4 is resting membrane potential. These both are stage number 4, which is reached at the end of phase 3. Okay? So with this, we complete our recall session. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.